This is Will.
This is Alex.
Welcome back to another episode of They Mostly Come Out of It. Welcome back, everyone. You know who it is.
You know what time it is.
You know what time it is.
You know what day
Sunday
it is.
Night. First things first. You know what to do. If you're new here, though, if you don't know what to do,
Yeah,
if
you have an assignment.
we have an assignment for you. Go like, comment, subscribe, because it really helps out the podcast. We do recommendations every 5 episodes, so get those in. We are at the end of 87, so, now we're going to do our year-end review decade-end review at the end of the episode, So get excited for that. I don't think there's any other business. Welcome to the new year. Welcome to 2025. Hopefully it's good.
Yeah. I don't have any other,
Yeah.
recommendations because this is the end of 87, so we're going into 88. If you have some sort of special thing you want to see in 88 and it fits the criteria,
Yeah.
go
Get
ahead.
it in.
I know somebody already gave us 1 or 2, and I assure you they are there. They are coming.
Yeah. So
don't even fret.
get on those recommendations. Get on it. Comment, subscribe. Let's have a conversation if you want. Whatever you want.
Now, you should have known this movie was coming.
I certainly knew it was coming, and I was excited because we watched my copy of it.
Yes. This is, it's Dream Warriors. What?
What else is there to say? Really, it's probably, in my opinion, my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street and one of my favorite horror movies.
It is, this movie is incredible. I can't mince words.
I fucking love this movie. It's insane. The places it goes, are nuts. I get people give some scenes shit, but I will defend them.
I love every scene in this.
Every part of it. Every single scene. I love the story. I love the continuation of the lore. Yes, I love the second one. Don't get me wrong. Second one's great. But this one just holds a special place in my heart. It's literally one of my favorite horror movies. So
I love that I love how endearing it is. I love that it's just a movie about misfits and people with flaws, and it's very empathetic to them. I love that it's about people who have issues, and it treats them with full empathy.
I like how it doesn't make fun of any of the characters in this movie.
Yeah.
None of the characters get made fun of.
Yeah.
They except by the other characters, but they never poke fun at
Our
any
main group.
of the characters or any mental illness or anything like that. And I love how it's just a group of teenagers, the last of the Elm Street kids, and they're all coming together and they're all in one place and they have to fight Freddy Krueger again.
And what do? It's the third movie. What do? Okay, we're gonna give them dream powers.
Yeah.
But
I also like how they don't go too insane on that, because it's only in the last 20 minutes that you guys see the real huge dream powers. It's not this overblown, because I think if they focused on it the entire movie, I think it might be a little if they're training and there was montages of them training and shit like that, that'd be a little weird.
I think I'd probably love that, but
I think it'd be good, but I think I like the magic of this movie. I like the way it's structured. I like the pacing. I like how they do everything. And I do like how most of the powers are literally can't even hold a candle to how powerful Freddy is in this movie.
Because he's got all the souls of the kids.
Yep.
So he's super powerful now. 3 movies worth.
I know. There's so much to love about this movie. I think this is just going to be a rambler. We're just going to ramble on about it. Because, if you're watching this podcast and you love horror movies and you love Nightmare on Elm Street, you definitely have already seen it.
You kind of know what's coming.
Yeah. You've already seen it. You know what's happening. You know this movie. And it's just fucking incredible.
Yeah.
So let's start. Nutshell. Here we go. So the kids of Elm Street start getting tortured by Freddy again. and they
affecting
they all come together in like an institution
because their parents are done with them.
Yeah, they're like, hey, like we can't control these kids. They're hurting. Well, quote unquote, hurting themselves because Freddy's hurting them. One of them, like some of them, have committed suicide, and so they all get put into this group.
They all have trauma because of this.
They all get put into this group, and the girl from the first one, you know who she is.
She shows up to help them.
Yeah, she's like an intern, and she wants to help them.
She knows.
Along with the new guy, who's like a psychiatrist and wants to help as well. But he first like disagrees with her. Then they do a hypnosis, and he sees what's going on.
Well, plus as the body count racks up, he's kind of like, okay, we need to try something different.
Right, exactly.
Some unorthodox methods.
Yeah. So that's basically in a nutshell what happens. It's a group of Elm Street kids that are traumatized by Freddy. So they start fighting back, and they start trying to figure out how to escape Freddy's nightmares.
Because it's sort of like inevitable.
Yes.
You know? They obviously, they have to sleep. And, you know, the dreams are inevitable, so what do?
I appreciate how this movie starts because it just goes. It's like, it knows you've watched the other Freddy movies, and it's like, yeah, we know you've seen it. We know you know how this all works, so we're just going to go for it. Because it literally starts with, like, Patricia Arquette's character just making a papier-mâché house and just trying to stay awake, and you know immediately why she's trying to stay awake.
Yeah, you see her, like, just take a spoonful of instant coffee and Coke. And, you know, she cranks up Dawkins on her radio, and she's making a little house, and you, of course, know exactly what house it is.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, her mom walks in. I love the whole, like, dynamic between, like, her mom, like, who most of these, like...
It's like all the adults in these movies.
Well, yeah, they just scream at their kids and tell them to go to sleep, basically, and, like...
She has a man over.
Yeah.
And he wants to know where the bourbon is. And she's like, you know, you can't ruin this for me because I have a man over. And so she...
Well, and I love, like, the dynamic of, like, how it's like, well, you don't care about me, you just care about, like...
Yeah.
You know, whoever's here.
Which is true.
You care about entertaining your guest or whatever. And, which is true. And then, you know, she gets attacked. I love the whole, like, slow-mo kids playing in the, you know, the Elm Street
nursery
house.
rhyme?
Yeah. And she, like, goes in, and it's, like, this house of horrors as she's, like, trying to escape, and has, like, that quicksand thing. And then sees one of my favorite images from the entire movie is all the fucking Elm Street kids from, like, the first, like, 2 movies are just hung and strung all over this room. As, like, the little girl she's carrying, like, turns into a skeleton.
You're hurting me. And then she looks at her, and she's a skeleton. And then she wakes up, so to speak.
With, like, her... Well, yeah.
She goes to the bathroom to, like, wash up, and as she's turning the faucet, it springs to life.
One, like, grabs her wrist, and...
The other one turns into, like, the Freddy knives, and it slashes something. Yep. Then her mom walks in and says, what are you doing? And
she's
both
holding
of her...
a razor blade, and both of her wrists are slit.
So she gets sent away.
Yep. So she gets into this institution. We meet all of our characters. I love how each of them has their own, like, personality, and each of them has, like, they're very different.
Yeah.
Like, one doesn't talk, one's a mute that's, like, super interested in women, and, like, especially, like, one of the nurses.
Mm-hmm. Which has to pay off.
One of them is, like, this wisecracking, like, guy that just, like, kind of jokes to, like, deal with his
kind of pretends to be tougher than he is.
We get, like, a recovering drug addict that's trying to, like, kind of, like, get back on her feet.
Yeah.
We have
the nerdy guy in the wheelchair.
The nerdy guy that plays D&D with some of them. And then we also get...
The guy who sleepwalks all the time.
Sleepwalker, and then Patricia Arquette's character. And is there any others? I feel like we're forgetting someone.
Oh, the one who wants to be an actress.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. It's primetime, bitch.
Yeah, she's gonna get out of there and be a big time actress.
Yeah. So we have all our characters. They're all very different. They're all like really cool and really unique. And surprisingly, we get like a little bit of character development from a lot of them. Even though it's a slasher film, which doesn't happen a lot, which was why I like all the characters are cool. All the characters have like motivations. And when they become like the Dream Warriors, all their like dream powers make so much sense to who they are as a character.
Likewise, their deaths also.
Yeah, one is like
personal,
but like it's all like kind of more personal and like very like character driven, which is surprising in a slasher movie.
To their flaws.
Yeah, usually you don't care, but like these kids are like actually trying to better their lives, and they're not like annoying teenagers that just die by like a random slasher, right? So I do love. I guess we can go over some of the death scenes. The marionette scene.
Yeah.
The first death marionette thing is like fucking insane. Like being like tied up by his tendons and like being like
he sleepwalks.
Yeah, forced to walk to like a roof, and like you see like this superimposed image of Freddy cutting strings.
Yeah. The
he, like,
puppet master.
It's so great.
That one's great. There's obviously...
Well, the primetime bitch thing, like I mentioned, where the hands come out of the TV and, like, slam her into the fucking TV.
Well, I also love, like, she's watching, you know, an interview, like a late night show, and it's just... She falls asleep, so halfway through the interview, it's Freddy.
Well, it's like, yeah, I love when it's like, I have another question for you. Like, who
gives a fuck what you think?
And then slashes like the actress's throat, and it goes all static.
And then you just hear screaming, and she's like, "What the?" And yeah, she goes up to the TV. It like turns into like Terminator hands.
It's your big TV moment.
It's your big moment. Welcome to primetime, bitch.
And then pulls her into the TV.
But to everyone else, like the adults, so to speak, all these deaths just look like suicide,
like teen suicide. Yeah, exactly. So that's
because the guy at the marionette is just him falling off a roof. Her, like, you don't see the hands. It just looks like she literally shoved herself into the TV.
Yeah, exactly. And then you also get the mute boy that gets captured, but like that scene where he gets captured is insane
because they're
all like under hypnosis. They're all figuring out their powers, right?
Well, initially they don't know they're asleep,
right?
Because they're just like, okay, it failed.
Well, yeah,
we'll try again the next.
And
time.
like, I think his name is Joey. He sees the nurse, and the nurse like begs him to come, like, you know,
because he's had a thing for her the whole movie.
Yeah, and so she like puts him on a bed, and I was like, "This is what you've always wanted." And
just don't tell anybody. Like,
she's like, "Unzip me," and you're like, "Oh, okay, it's the dream." They're under hypnosis. So,
and then the other one's like, he's messing around with like, I don't know what it's called.
Newton's cradle.
Yeah, it's like the 4 balls,
beads that like bounce back and forth,
and they just float away.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Oh shit, we're asleep," and they all reveal them, their dream powers, who they want to be.
I know I said it's my favorite movie, but I always forget all their names for some reason. Patricia Arquette's character has like acrobatic skills.
Yes,
in the dream, there's one that has like Hulk powers.
She's also Patricia Arquette's character is also the one where she has like the power to pull them in.
Well, because she pulled what? And is it Nancy?
Yeah.
She pulled Nancy into
her nightmare
to like help her. And I love that scene when Nancy falls into the chair and just like disappears.
And then the scene with like a Freddy snake swallowing her up. It's great. But after that, she's like, you have this unique ability.
I also love when she pulls Nancy into her dream, because Freddy then realizes,
he's like, it's you.
Like, it's all connected. He's like, he recognizes Nancy immediately.
Yeah.
And you know.
But she's the kind of the anchor to this, because she has the ability to be able to pull people in with her into the dream world.
Right, exactly. The scene where they figure out their powers is awesome, and like the one who's wheelchair bound,
He stands up.
and then he has like wizard powers,
Yeah.
but that won't come into play. That's the one scene that everyone makes fun of, which I actually still think is pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie.
People just hate fun.
They do. And
That's all I'm gonna say.
That scene is a little cheesy. I'm not gonna lie.
If you hate fun,
but it's fun.
then yeah. But if you don't
really
hate fun, you get it. Yeah, he's got the wizard powers. The former like drug addict, she's like a badass like mohawk,
like a metal chick
with 2 like switchblades. The sassy guy, he's like super strong, and he like takes a chair, like the metal,
bends it, like you said, like he has Hulk powers. And so while they're all like realizing these powers, they realize they're in the dream, and they don't realize that like what Joey isn't around. And like I love how it like immediately starts turning into a hellscape. Like they can't get out of the room, and it like starts like closing in on them, and then becomes like a boiler room.
Yeah, they can't escape.
It's very centered on like boiler rooms and hell, like most.
It's Freddy.
Yeah. And they can't escape. So he puts the Joey in a coma because he wants to lure them all into the dream world.
She as the fake nurse is seducing him, she uses her tongue. She like Spider-Man throws her tongues at him, to tie him up, and the bed he's on turns into like a chasm to hell.
Yeah, and starts burning his back.
But everyone else gets woken up, and he's in a coma.
Yep. So like Nancy and the doctor get taken off the thing, and
he's basically trapped.
Yeah. Well, and I love how like they show like basically the psychiatrist keeps seeing this nun, and like talks to her, and she like tells him that you have to like. I love how they're kind of expanding the lore.
That it's like a soul that needs to be put to rest.
But I love how they're expanding the lore because they give an origin story.
Yeah.
Like, which is the craziest origin story ever. There was a nurse at that psych ward that
it used to be a psych ward for the most insane,
like criminally insane.
Yeah, the most insane, fucked up people.
Yeah, and so she, like, one of the nurses got trapped there, and like, was tortured and sexually assaulted the entire
over and
time.
over.
And she had a baby, and her name was Mary Kruger? Amanda Kruger.
And that baby is Freddy.
It's Freddy. So he's like the spawn of I love the line. He's the spawn of 100 psychopaths.
Of 100 of the like worst maniacs alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So of course he's fucked up.
Yeah. Right. And I love how like they're like, okay, well, like they burned him, but they didn't bury his body, so they didn't put him to rest in hollowed ground.
Which is the thing that
you have to do.
You have to put him in hollowed ground. So they were like, okay.
So it
was the parents.
They're like, okay, the parents know, and there's only really one parent left that can help them.
us.
And of course, it's Nancy's dad,
the cop from the first movie. So they get him to show this doctor to this where they hid the body.
Yeah.
And it's like this junkyard.
And we're like, we are passing through it, but like everyone's seen this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Well, we'll go into detail after, maybe, of our little things we love.
Yeah.
But basically, all of this, what it leads to is a showdown with everyone's dream powers. And
we get the dream powers and also real life, because Freddy's I know everyone hates it when he does this for some reason.
Because people hate fun.
All the Fred heads are like, he can't come into the real life. It's like he does it almost every single movie. So
it's get used to it. While they are battling him, and of course, first thing he does is he splits them up.
Yeah.
So you get like the one-on-ones. Probably my favorite is the former drug addict, and it's like her dream world or whatever. It's
like a back alley.
It's like a dingy back alley, kind of like the kind of place where she used to be before. And she's like walking around this dingy back alley, and Freddy shows up, and he has...
Well, I like how she fights him a little bit with the switchblades, but then like her power is just like a metal chick, so she doesn't have much strength against him.
Well, plus he knows what she is craving.
Yes.
Because his fingers turn into syringes with drugs.
It's like, let's get high.
And they kind of like talk about it earlier in the movie with this like dickhead, orderly or whatever.
Who like tries to seduce her
by telling her, hey, I got access.
Drugs, yeah. And she has like track lines.
Yeah, from all
her
the
arms. From
her drugs that she's done in the past.
Yeah.
And all of them like come alive, basically.
When they start like fiending for the drug because they keep like puckering.
Yeah. And so of course he stabs her with the syringes in there and kills her and says, what a rush.
Yeah.
And you see like the veins in her head.
Blue veins. Yeah. It's insane. I also really like the wizard. We'll talk about the wizard scene. Let's just get it over with because it's the one that everyone thinks is too cheesy. I love it, but
people hate fun.
There's a giant fucking torture wheelchair.
Because it's him.
Because
What's the thing that keeps him down?
I love how Freddy taunts him too, because he's like, "Well, when you wake up, you're still gonna be in a wheelchair.
Yeah, you'll still be this like weak person.
Yeah,
and it's this like Mad Max wheelchair with like spikes and like a
chains,
like knives for wheels and all this stuff.
And like wheels at him, he gets cut, but then he's like, "I'm the wizard of whatever."
What the game he was playing earlier?
Yeah. And so he like flies at him with like magical power.
He blows up the wheelchair.
Yeah,
with his like wizard foo.
He's like wearing a wizard's cloak too, and he's just like zapping Freddy, and then Freddy like stabs him.
Freddy gets him. Then there's while all this happens, the Nancy's dad and the male doctor, they're at the junkyard. And
they find the skeleton.
They're like digging a grave because earlier he grabbed like holy water and a cross.
Yeah, so it's just the three. So the surviving members are Nancy, Patricia Arquette, the Hulk guy, and the mute one that lured them. So there's 4 of them left. So they find the kid that's being like held and tortured, and he's like still bound up and still over the flame. And he's like
trying to yell, but he can't.
They like fight Freddy off, and they free him.
Well, because Freddy ends up leaving because he knows that they're getting his bones,
which is nuts,
and they're gonna bury it in hallowed ground. So he pops in, and his bones reform into a skeleton, and we get like a Jason and the Argonauts style fight.
With a skeleton and 2 dudes.
With a stop-motion skeleton. He throws the dad and impales him and kills him. And then he knocks out the guy and like just vanishes back to the dream world.
Like all his like bones just like collect in a pile again.
But they free the guy, and they're walking through this room of mirrors.
Oh, I love this scene.
And Freddy pops in.
Well, because at this point we haven't seen Joey's power. Like there was no inkling of what power he got.
Yeah. So there's all these mirrors, and he pops in through all of them and starts dragging all the living teenagers away. And he drags them all into the mirrors, and Joey just yells.
He says no, and then they all like come out,
and you see Freddy's like hurting. And all the mirrors shatter, and all the teenagers pop back out of the mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
So that's his thing, is he can talk in the dream world.
Exactly.
And
well, they come out, and Nancy's dad floats down,
and he's like, "I've crossed over," and everyone's like, "Oh, we got him. Everything's good."
He's like, "I just wanted to say I love you, and I'm so sorry for everything that happened," and they embrace. And then it's Freddy.
And he stabs her. The final death, so to speak.
Nancy.
And the doctor who was knocked out in the real world wakes up and he throws all the bones
into the grave.
Nancy is still like has enough strength to basically grab Freddy's arm and stab him with it.
Yeah.
So he can't like go back to the real world, and he starts throwing the holy water on him.
And like spots start appearing all over Freddy's like light spots,
and
like,
he like
shine all over the place.
Throws the cross down there, and like a cross pops up on his forehead.
Freddy disappears.
And it's Nancy. They're burying Nancy.
Yep.
And then you find out at the very end, because you see the nun, you find out that nun
was Freddy Krueger's mom.
Yes. Because it's sister Amanda Krueger.
She was trying to put Freddy to rest.
Yes. And it's like is it a ghost? Yeah, because you see her dead,
Yeah,
spooky.
but like she was like a guide.
She was guiding him.
She was guiding him to help. Like, and you're like, when she appear in the... Who cares?
Because it's a fucking sequel. Shut the fuck up.
Because who cares?
The final whabam is the doctor earlier in the movie. Earlier in the movie, Nancy, they were at her house, and she has a
paper mache house.
Well, the paper mache house is from Patricia Arquette, but Nancy has a
replica.
It's like a charm for good dreams.
Yeah.
So he has that now, and he has the paper mache house.
Yep. And the light turns on.
And you get Dream Warriors by Dawkins.
Dawkins starts playing.
That's...
Oh my god.
The basic bitch-ass rundown of the movie. Now, favorite little tidbits.
There's so many of them.
I love the Freddy snake effect. It's incredible.
Yeah, the Freddy snake is incredible. All the special effects just went fucking wild. I love the wheelchair scene. I like the special effects in the wheelchair scene are so good.
I love the set where he's holding Joey.
It's like a fucked up like hellscape boiler room
with like skeletons everywhere, and like a pit to hell. I love the mirror scene, just that shot of everybody, like him screaming and the mirrors exploding and all three of them like popping back through the mirrors looks so awesome.
Even the nurse scene is so like good and well done. Like when their like tongues like fuse together and like the guy like grabs the tongue and then she just starts spitting the tongues at him
to tie him up.
Yeah.
Feeling a little tongue-tied.
Dude, everything about this movie is just fucking incredible. It's the effects, the acting, the fucking story. I love how we get more lore behind who Freddy is. And it's like just like a little line. It's not like a big exposition dump. It's just like a little like, this is how he was born and this is why he's so messed up.
Yeah.
In the lore of the movie, that makes sense. And you're just like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Of course he would have a fucked up backstory.
Right, exactly.
Of course he would.
Yeah. And so I love how, like, just the little tidbits you get there, and I love the, like, when they're all figuring out their, like, powers and shit.
Because it makes sense. It's like, what's the thing that,
I love how all their powers correlate to who they are as a person.
Yeah.
So, like,
and then along with that, their deaths too, because that's like the thing that they are trying to, like
the wheelchair kid. He's in the D&D and like wizards and magic and shit. So of course he would choose like a wizard to be,
and he can walk
and everything. But like he also dies by getting cut by a wheelchair, and also like like thinking he's all powerful, even though Freddy's more powerful.
Yeah, and the effect where because they're like, why is he like he's really powerful, and then he like cuts his shirt and his body is like screaming souls of all the children he's killed,
and that kind of gives more lore too, where it's like the more souls he collects, the more powerful he gets.
He even says like there's always room for more.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like we knew. Then that's like why he wants to kill and why he wants to like murder more children in the dream, because he can get more powerful.
Yep.
Yeah. There's like a lot of lore going on. There's a lot of character development in a very short amount of time, which I really appreciate.
It's only an hour and a half.
You care a lot about like all the characters. You like all the characters. There's not an annoying character really in the entire movie. I don't know. It's just really, everything is so well done, and the pacing's great. Like everything about this movie is like what I like about Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Like it has comedy, it has horror, it has like everything. If you're like kind of iffy on the first one, which I don't know why you would be, to be honest. Like, let's just be honest. I don't know why you would be like, I don't know about this series, right? Watch this one, and it's like gonna like solidify everything for you.
It should.
It's such a good like example of why these movies are so loved.
And you just want to see some crazy creativity on display.
And you do. They just went balls to the wall with all the effects, all like the Dream Warrior powers, all the crazy shit that happens in the movie. Like they just didn't care. This is like, and again, it's like on a kind of a significantly small budget for like a horror movie.
Yeah, it's not like
this gigantic, huge budget.
It's a slasher movie.
Yeah.
It's not going to have that big of a budget.
Right.
But they pulled it off. They pulled all this stuff off.
And it's so well done. Like everything is just like tight. It's concise. It's a good slasher movie. The kills are fucking insane and really good. Like the TV one where like Lawrence Fishburne's character. Oh yeah, Lawrence Fishburne is like one of his like first roles.
He still goes by Larry Fishburne.
When he like runs into the TV room and like she's just hanging from the TV.
Yeah, you don't see the arms or anything, so it just looks like a suicide.
Like she just rammed herself into the fucking TV.
Well, she wanted to be a star. Well,
exactly.
All right. That's the thing. All the deaths, it's like it relates to like something with them. It's not like, yeah, they're cool and fun, but they're also relate to their character.
Even the marionette guy, like he made marionette puppets. So Freddy killed him by making him a marionette puppet.
And to everyone else, to the adults,
it looks like he's sleepwalking.
It's like he's just sleepwalking, and he just, he inevitably killed himself because he's depressed.
Yep.
That's great.
It's so good.
It's, it's all these like damaged, traumatized kids, and no one really listens to them, and they're all dismissed.
I do love how we get like a little when they're fighting Freddy and he comes back, and we get like a little like vignettes of like each of them going through their own like dream sequence. So that's when we get like the wheelchair kid. It segments all of their like individual experiences with Freddy, where he like kills them one by one, basically.
Because that's the thing that he has to do is if they're together, he's not as powerful. But if he can get them separated one by one, it's like,
he does.
It's still his world, so to speak.
I love like also when she goes back and they redo the scene from the beginning when he separates Patricia Arquette's character, and she's like back listening to Dawkins, and like,
oh yeah,
the mom comes in and stops it, and it's the exact same scene, and you're just like, we already saw the scene.
But she's like. But like her dialogue is a little different because she's like, I just had the worst dream ever.
Yeah, and she's still like, well, I gotta go entertain like this guy I have, and
you hear him yelling.
He's like, where's the bourbon?
Honey, where do you keep the bourbon?
And then she's like, honey, I have to go. And then like it's like, where's the fucking bourbon?
And he cuts her head, and he cuts
her
mom's head off,
and like the mom starts screaming at
you always ruin everything.
Well, again, because she's like, her mom's like domineering, so of course he like just uses her head to like torture her. Yeah. Oh God, it's so good.
And she acrobat flips out of the out the window. But it's great.
I also love how they use Nancy's like that Elm Street house as like the final, like,
what's the thing that
final level?
They all dream of it.
Yes, they all dream of going there, and that's like predominantly through the entire film. That's where they keep coming back to, because that's where like I don't know what significance I can't remember what significance the house plays. Even though it was like Nancy.
Probably because she defeated him.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah.
Because that's when she sees the paper mache house. She's like, "Hey, I lived there."
Right.
Like, where did you see this? And then she says, "Yeah, I keep dreaming of this house."
Yeah, I lived there. I don't know, like there's very little. I don't really hate anything in this movie. I can't think of a single thing.
No,
and it flies by in a flash.
I don't know. This, like, 2, 3, and 4 of this franchise is my... It kind of hits everything I want.
I actually honestly agree with you because, like, I'll be honest, I actually, and I know this is going to be crazy for some people to hear, I actually like 2, 3, and 4 more than the first one.
I do like the first one a lot.
I like the first. Like, don't get me wrong.
It's amazing.
Let me back that up.
Yeah.
It's iconic. It's a really fucking good horror movie, and it's great. And it started this entire thing.
It started this thing. Yeah.
And I fucking love it. Don't get me wrong. It is still good. But 2, 3, and 4 do such a good job at like expounding on that fucking
and
premise
just being crazy
and just going insane because like. The first one has that thing of where like they have to establish characters, they have to establish what the murderer does and why he does it and all this shit, right? So they have to kind of establish that, right? There's rules you have to establish. It's the beginning of any franchise has to do that. Which is crazy because Carpenter said he didn't want this to be a franchise.
Well, they all say that.
I know.
Doesn't fucking matter. But first one was great, but what I love is because the second one it's similar in tone to the first one, where it's very serious. There's really no one-liners. It's very serious, very dark. Like, but I think the second one's even more dark and grim.
I would argue that the second one is probably the most horror centric in the entire franchise.
Because there's no like real comedy. It's just brutal and dark, and I think the deaths in 2 are better than in 1, and I think the like final last 30 minutes of 2 goes so hard.
Here's what I love about 3 though, because from 4 on you get more comedic,
which I'm fine with, but I know people have issues.
Right, you get more like dark humor. Freddy, like I mean, there's still...
Freddy becomes the main character almost.
Yeah. He becomes the main character. He becomes this antagonistic asshole that says bitch a lot, right?
Yes.
Like, from here on, he becomes, like, the Freddy that everyone knows.
The meme lord.
He's not the Freddy from the first 2, where he's, like, super mean and just brutal and fucking just murders people to murder people. Now, he plays with people. He fucking, like...
says one-liners.
He says a bunch of one-liners. They let, like, Robert Englund, like, do, like, ad-libbed lines. And, like, he just fucking goes off the wall, right?
Yeah.
From here on, he does that. But what I love about this movie is they captured that perfect balance.
Yeah.
From the brutal, like, 1 and 2, where he's mean Freddy. And then 4 on, he's, like, meme lord Freddy. So you get this 3 is this perfect balancing board. You get both Freddys in this movie. Mm-hmm. It's like the perfect passing of the torch to the new Freddy.
So the wild
Freddy. He starts as like a super mean Freddy, and he's still fucking like brutal and mean in this one, and still like horrific, but then also says stuff like it's primetime, bitch, and like taunts them.
Are you feeling tongue-tied? Yeah.
Taunts them with their own like insecurities and starts doing that more, which
you'll see way more of in 4 and 5. And now, mind you, I enjoy all these movies. Like, I'm not.
I know a lot of people are a little bit apprehensive of 4. I think it is. Is that the one that everyone like kind of?
I think it's. I mean, the one that I think is usually the most controversial is 6.
Yeah,
it used to be 2. Back in my day,
because everyone hated the fucking scene where he pops out into the real world.
I don't give a shit. I also think 2 was controversial.
Was awesome.
Well, 2 is also controversial because of the gay subtext.
Yeah, the gay subtext, right?
Which is, it's not even subtext. I mean, I'm sorry, it's just there. It's there for you to take.
Exactly.
Which is also what I love, because
and we have a whole episode if you want to go listen to that. We reviewed it. We loved it.
We discussed the subtext in detail because
we do discuss it. So if you want to go listen to that, but yeah. And I love the kind of passing of the torch of being more dark comedy slasher. Because this has, like I said, like the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
I think it just hits that perfect fucking tone of being like really scary imagery, really scary, like Freddy is not to be fucked with, into Freddy's saying like comedic shit and being kind of goofy and kind of like all over the place. Yeah. I love that. I think it's great. I
can see. I'm flexible.
And I
can do both.
I do love comedy Freddy. I think 4 is good. I think 5 is good. I think I
enjoy all of them.
I like funny Freddy.
Yeah,
I don't mind it. I like when I like when they like let him do whatever.
Because here's the thing, all the other ones, guess what? They're still R-rated.
Well, they're still slasher movies.
They're still brutal movies and people die.
They don't change them. They're just not as mean.
It's just there's more one-liners and it's more. I almost want to say, like colorful.
Yeah.
They're more like comic booky. I mean, 5 literally has a dream death where it's a comic book battle with like panels and stuff.
Yeah.
Like they literally do that. And like, I love that. Some people don't. I get it. It's your opinion. But if we're talking the sweet spot,
this is it.
It's going to be,
This is why, this is why I love the franchise, but this is also why this is my favorite of the entire series. Because it hits that sweet spot.
Mm-hmm.
It hits it so perfectly, and I don't know, it's like lightning in a bottle. They fucking hit that bullseye. For me, just when I first watched this, I was just like, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
This is the entire reason I love Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yep.
It matches, it fits, it blends all the worlds of Nightmare on Elm Street into this perfect cadence for me. This is my opinion, obviously. And that's why it's my favorite. It's everything I want in a Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
Yeah, it's got it all.
It's got everything you need. And I'll keep watching it until I'm dead.
It's got the good feels.
And it's got the probably not even arguably for me the best theme song ever created.
Dokken, I heard this song before I even watched this movie.
Dokken Dream Warrior is insane. I think this is one of the first instances of a band doing promotion for a movie and like doing like a song. Because did the music video come out before?
I don't know, because I know
because they had scenes from the movie in the music video.
Yeah, well, it was made for the movie, but I know it was on an album after this movie.
Yeah.
Because it's not even we did have in 86 Friday the 13th Jason Lives, which had The Man Behind the Mask by Alice Cooper, which was also made for that movie.
Mm-hmm. So it's definitely not the first like theme song made for a movie, obviously. Like that's go.
But it was definitely happening.
But like they kind of promoted each other.
Well, yeah.
And it was like a big... listen, I wasn't alive when this all happened, but I assume it was a pretty big deal because you got like a big band like Dokken at the time.
To do a song for...
Which I think they're criminally underrated now.
Amazing band.
Not a lot of people talk about Dokken. They're fucking insane. And I love them, and I love... All their albums are good.
There's 2 Dokken songs in this.
Go listen to Dokken, because they deserve to be listened to. They're fucking awesome. But, like, I don't know, like, I remember seeing, like, I think I had a DVD of this or a VHS or something, and the VHS,
they probably had
if you watched past the credits,
the
music video for Dokken played, and I remember just that blowing my fucking mind. Like, my teenage mind was just, like, fucking blown.
Yeah, I know I heard the song before I saw the movie. I don't know how.
I think I heard the song before because I think my parents had that album.
I think I listened to like a greatest hits or something, and this was on there. And of course, I was like, this has to be like from something because it's like, it feels like that. And then I found out, yes, it's from this. And then probably a couple years down the line, I actually watched this because it's like Because at that point, I started getting into slashers and stuff.
Well, and like, of course, when you're getting into slashers, you got to watch all the Nightmare on Elm Streets. You got to watch all the Friday the 13th. You got to watch all like the franchises, right?
You have to watch the big boys.
You have to watch the big boys. The fucking the fucking holy like
the Mount Rushmore.
If you like fucking slasher movies, these are the movies you watch. So I don't know, just like it's so good. It's so good. It's so memorable. It's just. That's why it's one of my favorite horror movies of all time. Because I love dark humor in my horror movies. I love when like shit goes fucking crazy, as you know, from listening to this podcast even.
Creativity.
I love just like insane shit that you don't see anywhere else. And this is what you get in this movie.
That is what you'll get here.
And listen, we can talk about it until the cows come home, but everyone said... This movie's been out forever. It's been reviewed to fucking death.
It's very well known.
Everyone's fucking reviewed this movie, so we're not going to say anything you haven't heard.
Just go watch it.
Just go watch the fucking movie. Now let's get to... we'll do Shitty to Pretty.
Yes.
And then we'll get to our award ceremony. Our coveted Team Cone awards ceremony for the end of the decade. Not the end of the decade, the end of the year of 1987. And then on to 88, which will probably start with some shit.
Oh, we got to start at the bottom. We'll always do.
We do. So, Shitty to Pretty, it's a 10. Like, there's no question. We'll glaze it up real quick.
10 out of 10, we already
10 out of
did.
10, it's fucking incredible. It's one of my favorite horror movies of all time. That should have been a given. Let's get to our award ceremony.
Okay. Yes, this is our Oscars, okay?
So if you're new here, what we do is once we get to the end of our list for a certain year, this being 87, we do worst of the worst, best of the worst, which is the... Worst of the worst is obviously like the shittiest movie we watched.
The biggest shit. Biggest shit pile.
Yeah. Best of the worst is something that was shit...
Like a bad movie.
But highly entertaining.
But we enjoyed it.
But like just we're cackling and just like having a blast watching it. And then of course we got Best of the Best, which is the favorite movie we watched for that year.
Yeah.
Now, stipulation, should it be fair, because this is one of my favorite horror movies, should I pick a different movie for my Best of the Best?
You do what you want, buddy. There's no stipulations.
It's kind of not fair because it's like... I'm biased because this is literally...
it's inevitable.
This is one of my favorite horror movies.
We inevitably had to do this movie.
I know. And, like, I'm a little biased, so maybe what I'll do is I'll do my runner-up.
Okay.
So, spoiler alert, my best of the best is Nightmare on Elm Street.
Let's start with worst of the worst.
Yeah. Let's start with worst of the worst. I know what mine
is. Because it's easy. This one is easy. Because it's Death Nurse.
It's Death Nurse. Because, holy Lord, I fucking hate it. It's not even that it was like, Black Devil Doll from Hell bad. It's just that it was fucking boring.
No, it wasn't that bad, but it was just a nothing movie.
Happens.
Oh, things happen.
It's just boring.
People awkwardly get slapped to death.
It's just not exciting. Nothing happens that's worthwhile. It's just like you watch it and you're just like, why am I wasting my time watching this movie?
No. Will, you had 20 minutes of footage from a different movie. Don't forget.
Oh, yeah, you did. Yeah,
unrelated.
That is true. You did.
To a different movie.
You did get that, which is insane.
In a movie that's only an hour long.
An hour long.
About 20 minutes.
Here's the thing. It's an hour long, and I fucking hated every minute of that hour. It was just boring.
It's
just throwaway garbage.
That's the biggest...
There's no reason to watch it.
It really commits that ultimate sin of just being boring. It's not even offensive. Like, it's not like Black Devil Doll from Hell or Savage Water or, freaking Lucifer Complex.
It's not like atrocious like those. It's just boring.
It's just like man has camera and a house and a cast of old fucks.
That's it. It's like geriatric slasher, and it feels like that.
And everything's slow and boring.
Yeah.
Even the title screen was like...
just slow and boring. It's like humdrum. Just like you fucking like... You're like falling asleep.
There's multiple scenes.
And it's only an hour long.
Hey, there's multiple scenes where our death nurse falls asleep on the couch.
I know.
And has dreams.
Of a different movie. Yeah, I know. I remember.
So it's Death Nurse.
Fuck me. Yeah, Death Nurse is definitely the worst. Do not watch that unless you want to fall asleep. If you need a good like sleep aid, watch Death Nurse. Now, I know what my best of the worst is.
What is your best of the worst? Well,
Killing Spree. Because my God, dude, that fucking movie, holy
is
shit,
insane.
like
Tim Ritter.
I'm not gonna lie, that scene of him on the stairs with his tiny little head
And the orange light.
well, and they frame it with this gigantic fucking like backdrop, right? Like this, just all the wall. You get all the stairs.
It's the house. Yeah.
And then you get his tiny little fucking
Peeking
head
over it.
in the middle of the fucking frame,
Looking maniacal.
just looking over it, like zoomed, like not even zoomed in. It's just like his little tiny head.
But you see his psycho eyes.
And then he starts taunting the guy and being like, "Your girl gives great head."
Yeah, she gave me good head too.
Yeah.
Look.
And he like flails this fucking mannequin head
And knocks him out.
Just fucking throws. And the dream sequence where she's like a giant pair of lips
Sucking his head.
and oh my God. And the fucking when the zombies start coming back from the dead
And like plotting.
the cowboy with the screwdriver in his head putting on the fucking cowboy hat again, and you see the screwdriver through the hat.
All the deaths were the funniest shit. Killing Spree is one of those movies that is so insane and sincere that it avoids being hee-haw.
I love the premise that he is fucking killing all these guys because he thinks
his wife is having an affair.
Yeah, like he's just going insane.
Because she's writing trashy romance stories.
That is the best part about it because it literally is all...
It's in his head.
It's all in his head, and it's so ridiculous.
It's incredible.
The premise is so insane.
And all of them are memes.
Yeah.
Like the TV repairman does karate, the cowboy who, I don't even know what he did, but he like, but in his dream nightmare, you know, they're having shower sex and he has his cowboy hat on.
I love that
shower.
scene. It's so good.
Or the lawnmower stoner.
Yeah.
Like, it's so insane. And the neighbor.
I love how the lawnmower stoner comes out of this like vat of like radioactive. Remember that?
Yeah.
Like, he's like a fucking like radioactive goo that like reanimates the corpses.
Because it's like, doesn't the house have like, it's like built over like a fucking toxic waste dump or something?
Yes,
yeah. Like I'm telling you, it's incredible that movie does not cross the line into hee-haw, because I can't think of another movie that comes so close to crossing the line into stupid comedy but doesn't than that.
I love that there is the taxi cab company is named after Tim Ritter.
Yes.
The Ritter Taxi Cab Company. I think he's the one driving the taxi too.
I think it is. Now, that's not my best of the worst.
That's not your best of the worst. Okay.
My best of the worst because, you know, listen, I love...
There's a lot of contenders. Listen, 87, let me just say this real quick. 87 has been
It's been very fun.
good to us. There's been a lot of really fun shit. There's been some bad stuff, but it's mostly just been like entertaining bad. Like fun bad.
Yeah. Now, I think fitness is very important.
Okay. You're right.
You
know what?
I
don't know if I want to change it, but like...
No, I get your choice.
But I do love Killer Workout.
Listen, I love fitness.
Workout is so good.
I love my montages of fit women in leotards or whatever.
And I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. Rhonda's hot.
I just love it.
I would let her murder me.
It's a film
I would let her murder me all day.
It's a film of beautiful people, and I love that the whole thing, right? What's the thing? Why is Rhonda killing people? Because she is jealous that they're all beautiful and perfect.
I love how,
and I love that.
I love how beautiful and perfect she is, except for like
she has the Freddy Krueger body.
Not the body, just the boobs.
That's the only thing
the Freddy Krueger bombas.
She couldn't be a model because she.
But she's like beautiful up front, right?
Because it's a fucking David Pryor movie.
I know. Because she's like fucking beautiful, right?
I love it.
But like she's not good enough to be a model because she's disfigured.
She opens a fucking gym
and murders people. Dude.
I love that the murder weapon is a fucking safety pin.
Now, another runner-up was Miami Connection. I'm not going to lie.
Miami Connection is hilarious.
Because Miami Connection is fucking insane.
I found my father.
I found my father!
Yeah! Father!
My father!
My father was Korean.
Dude, it's so fucking good.
So fucking stupid. I love it. But man, Killer Workout just... Again, that's sincerity of just like... Okay... Literally 1/4 of our movie is just workout montages.
You know what the best part of Miami Connection is? That I just the fucking title screen where it's like where they
the ending
they fucking murder all these people in cold blood and just get vengeance because they killed their and then it says only through the elimination of violence can we achieve world peace.
Bold. Bold.
I fucking love it.
Stupid. Fucking stupid.
Oh my god.
Cracked.
Another contender was, and there's a lot of contenders to be honest, but I fucking like Zombie Nightmare.
Zombie Nightmare was a special kind of stupid. That was a special kind of brain rot, brain dead, stupid shit.
Yeah. There's so many.
But best
of the best.
Of the best.
Best of the best. Here we go. Okay, so I said that we already know what my best of the best is, okay? We already do.
It's been known for a long time.
We already know, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my runner-up.
Okay.
This would be, if it was anything else, Retribution.
Okay.
Because holy fuck, dude. I fucking love the visuals alone in Retribution. I still think about.
Hey, there's a similarity between Retribution and our movie tonight. Both movies are about the misfits of our society.
Exactly.
Just trying to survive.
Yep.
That's what Retribution had, and that is what this has.
In Retribution, every time they show the fucking ghost guy and like the fucking neon starts going crazy and things start exploding and
Retribution is one of the movies where like we put it on, we started watching it, and within the opening like 5 minutes we're just like, okay, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be great.
Retribution is what I wanted to do this podcast for me. In the first place, where I was like, I would find movies that I had never seen or heard about before that like blew my mind.
That are amazing.
That are like amazing, like Diamond in the Rough. Like where I literally have put Retribution on my rotation and I want to watch it every year now.
It's incredible.
It's such a good movie, and it's the visuals alone are fucking incredible.
The characters are great, like the acting, you really care about these people, the deaths. I love that it's all like filmed on location. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Retribution's good choice.
Yeah. Solid. Not yours though? What's yours?
Well, I guess I just love my cosmic shit. Prince of Darkness.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's just sometimes you see those movies that it's just like you didn't know you needed it until you see it, and you're like, okay, yes, this is what I've been wanting.
That fucking bug scene where the bugs make his body and like they like are
pray for death.
Yeah, pray for death.
I don't know. It's like that scene's crazy. I love how the whole movie has this sense of just dread. Everything is off.
I appreciate how it's like, you know how they say like hard sci-fi when it's like, this is like hard cosmic horror.
Well, yeah, it's
because it's very in depth. It's very involved, and you have to pay attention. You have to and you have to understand what's going on.
And they talk about quantum physics and like time.
They talk about like a lot of like philosophical like horror shit, like about like horror, about like evil, about
the nature of it.
Yeah,
the nature of reality,
about Satan and religion and all this stuff. Like, there's a lot going on in this movie,
and you have. I mean, there's that image in there of her reaching her hand through like the mirror and that fucking demonic Satan hand just like reaching back is so cool. It's so simple.
Well, even that scene of like when the liquid's pouring on the ceiling and then you like it's slowly panning to where the source is coming from, and it's like coming out of her fucking eyes and her mouth. It's absolutely incredible.
And then the ending,
yeah,
it has one of my favorite, out of recent memory, has one of my favorite cut to credits where it's just him like reaching his hand towards the mirror, and right before he touches it, it just boom.
I also love that it's like that like found footage before it was a big thing.
Oh, dude, I heard that. This is like, I mean, this might be a deep cut, but you know who DJ Shadow is?
Yeah.
I don't remember the song, but he has a song that sampled that audio.
Yeah.
And that's the first way I heard of this movie, is because that song sampled the whole, like, this is not a dream. This is not a dream.
Well, it's crazy.
Like, where the fuck is this from?
I'm into like analog horror on like YouTube and stuff, and that's like literally one of the first like visual iterations of analog horror
in a movie that's not even found footage.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, that's what I love, is like it's so like those scenes alone are just creepy because you like not even watching the movie, you're just like, what the fuck am I looking at?
Yeah, like,
and it's like this veiled figure coming out of this, you know, abandoned church, while this like weird distorted audio of like, this is a warning, like, and the whole concept of like the people from the future are like sending a message to the past through our dreams, telling us like the world is going to fucking end
with a giant vat of green liquid.
And the person that you see at the very end of all that footage at the end of the movie is the woman who gets trapped behind the mirror. Like,
it's, yeah, I love Princess
the fact
Artemis.
that it all has all this shit in there and it all makes sense, complete sense if you pay attention, is, I don't know, there's something about those movies where it's just like they reward you
exactly
for like paying attention to it. But yeah, obviously, you know, we have to do these because the real one is Dream Warriors.
Yeah,
it's the one true love.
I mean, yeah,
it's been inevitable. I haven't exactly had a big look at 88, so I can't say if there's a movie in 88 that's going to be that big of a fucking, like, just fuck you to everything. But it's been a great fucking year.
Yeah, 87 has treated us very well. And listen, if 88's anything like it, I mean, 80s has been good anyway. Because, I mean, let's be honest, it's our favorite decade for movies, so we're eating well.
And yeah, if anyone has any recommendations, anything,
yeah, throw them out. Even if it's like past, like even if it's in the 70s or whatever.
Yeah.
If you're new here,
future,
we will still review them. We just have to get to them.
Yeah. If it's a future year, we'll get to it. But if it's a past year, there's something you're really itching for us to talk about.
Yeah.
We will every 5 episodes.
We do that every 5 episodes. So please get them in. We will review them, I promise. But I think that kind of wraps up 87. I think that says it all.
That's it.
You know, in a year of Black Cobra, which is a shot-for-shot remake of Cobra.
Except bad.
Except really bad.
Except boring. I wish it was shot for shot.
I know it's not, but
it's not even that.
I think they couldn't even do that.
They couldn't even do that. Instead of a stylized supermarket hostage scene in the beginning, it's a giant boring swimming pool.
Yeah. Because they couldn't do it.
Supermarkets are hard to get a hold of, I guess. I don't know.
So in the wise words of whoever that kid was in the zombie movie, you will have it and you will love it.
Is that for the podcast?
Yeah, you will have it.
We'll have it.
And I am Ben. Or
Todd?
I am Todd. I am Todd.
Is not cranberry sauce.
That is not cranberry sauce.
That is really not cranberry sauce.
You will have it and you will love it is still one of my favorite lines ever spoken in a movie.
Yeah, it was spoken in a very dark alley.
I am Todd. Remember, everyone, I am Todd.
Yeah.
We are Todd.
Yes, we are all Todd in this moment.
So tune in next time for the start of 1988
I
and
will.
the misery begins.
I will pick a nice piece of shit.
Yes, we have to start from the bottom.
I will pick a lovely, aged.
At least we
piece
don't
of
have to
shit.
watch Jaws: The Revenge again. So
No, and you know what? It's fine.
it's
Look, it wasn't even close to the worst.
no, not at all.
So that should tell you the kind of movies we watch. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys all for listening. For They Mostly Come Out at Night, this has been Will.
This has been Alex.
And we will talk to you all next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye now. You will have it, and you will love it.